here's something we hope you'll really like.
When I booked our guest for tonight, I broke a sweat. She represents everything that I oppose. She represents pain. I prefer the couch. She represents sweat. I prefer a remote in hand. But it's working for her. But the one thing we have in common is chasing our dreams and staying sober and growing and figuring us out. So I am thrilled to welcome back our crazy nuts. I was going to get the theme song to Running in the Wind by the song Forrest Gump, Running Against the Wind. The song.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say Rocky.
I was going to do the opener for you, but anyways, it's great to see you. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. You too. I think you're full of crap, though. You don't like to sit on the couch. You're a football player, aren't you?
Do the three letters W, A, and S mean anything to you? So, it's a football player that turns into a football watcher. No, you know what? I still I got out and I ran today, and it was I defined it as running. I don't know if the people that were pointing and staring and laughing thought the same thing, but no, I got out and did it. It was brutal. It made me realize I got a road back, but it felt so good. Here's the thing. I'm going to jump right in. Amber is our host, our guest. She's Recovery Roadrunners. I want to hear a little of her story, but I'm just going to, before I forget this question, Amber, you got to solve this for me. And we're going to do a whole start of the new year habit forming. We've got someone that's going to come in and talk at the beginning of the year about habit. I'm going to have you back to do a program for those that want to get in, kind of the New Year's resolution. We're going to do a sugar busters, a nutrition one. We're going to do a journaling workshop, all sorts of things at the beginning of the year. But here's my dilemma, and you can solve this. I ran today. I feel great right now. I'm so glad I did it. Feel like $1,000,000. I got that soreness in my body that feels so good. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God, I got to do this every day. This is awesome. Tomorrow at 5:00, I'm going to say it's time to run. And I'm going to think, are you freaking nuts? All the good is going to be gone. And this goes into sobriety because I'm hungover. I'm never drinking again. I hate this, or I got one night. I feel so good. I love this. I'm not drinking. This is such a high. Then 5:00 comes around. And all of that is gone. And that has destroyed me in the past.
Okay, well, a few things you can do, Jeff. You got to drink your water after you run. Make sure you stretch before you go to bed and get a good night's sleep, okay? Yeah, no, you can have one Diet Pepsi and then switch to water, okay? And then after you get a good night's sleep, you'll be ready to go again. All you have to do is lace up those shoes and step out the door. That's all you have to do. Just tell yourself, I'm going to run for 5 minutes and you'll get going and then you're going to feel amazing again. The hardest part is getting out the door and getting started.
It is. And that's a huge stickler. The other thing, Amber, I did this and I don't know, but it felt so good. But now I can't just stick with doing a nice easy run tomorrow. But the push-ups, and I'll do the squats, and then I've been doing yoga, and I got to do that, and then I'll do some of these because if it's like an all or nothing, and I'll just completely overload myself and burn myself out.
Oh, well, that's not good. And as recovering alcoholics, we're good at going all in with everything we do. So I know exactly what you're saying. So just, do some cross training one day and then run the next day and just alternate cardio with strength training and take some days off too. Don't burn yourself out.
That's a key thing. And I worry about that. I'll probably keep my family if I don't run tomorrow, or I fail at staying with an exercise program. If I burn myself out on my sobriety, we got big problems. And that's, I can joke with you about the running part, but the sobriety, that's life or death for me, at least for my family.
I know. Yeah. Well, running and sobriety go hand in hand for me. If I don't run for 2 or 3 days, my back starts to hurt. I'll throw out my back. I'll get a neck ache. I'll get cranky. And then I'll start feeling like I need to have a drink. And my mentality will go in the dumps, just straight into the toilet. I need to run or get outside or do yoga or something to keep my mind straight, to keep me sober. I mean, they're very closely linked for me.
The other thing, Amber, that I can fall prey, and I assume I'm not the only one, but like with yoga, when I see some of these positions and these poses and I can't do them, I want to say, well, screw it, I can't do this, so I'll just quit. And the same thing, I see Amber just ran 148 miles this afternoon. I run out, I run 100 feet, and I'm winded, and I'm sore, and it hurts. Well, I can't do it. I'm not a runner, so I quit.
Right. Well, you know what? Don't compare yourself to me. I've been running for over 25 years, so it's in my blood. So 24 miles to me is normal. I know. I'm a weirdo. I'm a sicko. I will admit it.
There is therapy that you can get for that.
Yeah, running is my therapy, Jeff.
And if it's a good therapist, he'll start you on the couch, and if you're very good, you'll stay on the couch, like it happened for me, where that's how I cured my running addiction. I just
you don't have to be a marathon runner or a triathlete to get into a running habit. All it takes is 10 or 20 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week to start seeing the benefits of exercise. So don't burn yourself out, Jeff.
Well, that's a key thing. And that's, again, this goes into what we're going to talk at the beginning of the year. And you can touch on it now if you want, but I want you back for that program, because obviously New Year's resolutions, not that we need to wait till then, but
yeah.
But not burning ourselves out is a huge one. And for me, if I try to run 10 miles, there's no way I'll stick with it. That's too big of a daunting task. If I just say I'm going to run around the block, that's actually doable.
Yeah, you don't need to run 10 miles. Like, for most people, a goal for a 5K would be a really good first goal, right? Because that's like, 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how fast you're running. But a 5K is a very achievable goal for somebody. But to just say, I want to run 10 miles every day, like, why? Are you training for a half marathon or a marathon? But most people aren't. I mean, a 5K, 10K is a great goal to start out with.
I think we all put numbers on everything. I want to weigh a certain weight. I want to eat so many calories or grams of fat a day or carbs. I want to do X amount of miles versus, I guess that really has nothing. It's what you're getting out of that. It's the quality, not the quantity.
Yeah. I was just telling my friend Andrew, I am kind of a weirdo because I kind of just do my own thing based on my schedule for the week or for the day and how my body feels. Like, I tried to do a running streak, which is running every day for at least a mile. And I did about 10 days before I didn't make it because work got in the way. Kids got in the way. I'm a single mom. I work full time. I'm training for a marathon, and I was burnt out one day and I couldn't squeeze in that 1 mile. So I gave up on that, but I do run 5 or 6 times a week. And I let myself off the hook. If I can't run one day, I'm not going to beat myself up. Maybe I'll just do some light yoga or some meditation or just take the day off. You don't want to hurt yourself. I'm competitive, but I'm not hard on myself. So I have a goal to run this marathon. I have a marathon in 3 weeks. So I'll get the miles in, but if I can't make a run one day, it's not life or death to me. It's fine.
Which marathon are you doing?
Sacramento.
That's my hometown.
Right. That's right. December 5th.
Wow. That's, I didn't even know they had a marathon out there. It's
This will be the 3rd time I'm running this marathon, and my friend's coming from Seattle to run with me.
We have the Flying Pig here in Cincinnati, which is a big one. That's and I've watched that on TV as well. No, that's good. Well, I want to get in. Okay, so I'm gonna throw one at you then,
Oh gosh.
because you got
Okay.
great advice, and yet you were an avid athlete,
Mhm.
and it fell apart because of, probably has a little hint. It has to do why with the fact that you're on a sobriety support show. How did that happen?
Well, I started drinking freshman year of high school, and I was a softball player, a serious softball player. I played travel ball. I traveled all across the country playing competitive softball. So I started drinking at an early age, and I was instantly hooked. I was one of those drinkers where my first drink, it was like liquid gold to me, and I never looked back. It was all I wanted to get my hands on. So binge drinker, blackout drinker from age 14, but at the same time, I was a competitive athlete. I started running high school cross country my freshman year. I made the varsity team, and my team was good. We went to state 2 years in a row. We got second and third in the state. So I was training with some of the best runners in California. My coach was awesome. Funny enough, nobody knew I was drinking every Friday and Saturday night. I don't know how they didn't know. I was puking. I had to stop running at practice and puke on the side of the road. Like, I'm not even kidding you. And I told them, like, oh, it's because I can't keep up with you guys. That's just, you guys are too fast for me. I'm just going too hard, which was partially true because I was one of the slowest ones on the team. But I'm sure having all that alcohol in my system didn't help. I mean, I was sweating it out. I was trying to recover from the weekend, the whole entire week at practice. And I even showed up to races hung over. I would party the night before. I partied the night before the Stanford Invitational. It was one of the biggest races of the season. I went all out partying the night before. I don't know what I was thinking, Jeff. I thought I could have it all. So, I had my social life and I had my running life and my softball life. And I kept it all neatly packaged and hidden from everybody. I mean, my parents didn't know what I was doing. My coaches didn't know what I was doing. My fellow athletes didn't know what I was doing. The only people who knew were my party friends, which was a very small group of people.
Is there a
So
portion that your drinking was justification? Or I'm sorry, your running justification for your drinking?
yeah, that started in college because when I got to college, I gained weight my freshman year. I got a full ride softball scholarship, and I managed to blow that in less than a year. I gained 20, 30 pounds. My coach was like, who are you and why did we give you a scholarship? He cut me from the team after freshman year. And I was like, what? Why don't they want me anymore? I was in complete denial. I didn't know why they cut me. I mean, obviously, I was playing like crap and striking out all the time. And the walk on players were playing better than me because I drank 7 nights a week and gained a lot of weight. And I think that at that point, I started running more to lose weight and to get back in shape. So I think that's when my running turned a little bit.
So when did well, let's just jump ahead because we got a lot of topics, but when did the word sobriety enter your thought process, and how did running fit into that whole thing?
I didn't think about getting sober until I got pregnant. I got married. We quickly got pregnant about a year and a half later. And then I realized, wait a second, I can't drink anymore. And I was like, I told my husband at the time, I was like, can I still drink? Do you think I can still have a drink or two? Because I was such an addict that I didn't want to give it up completely. So here's what I did, Jeff. I have 2 cousins who are nurses. I cleared it with both of them. I said, is it okay if I still have an occasional drink? They said yes. So I was like, yes, I can still drink. Okay, I know this is a terrible story. I'm a terrible person for saying this. I know. I'm wicked.
The phone
I-
lines
I-
are
I
lighting up
couldn't-
right now.
I know. But I was such a heavy drinker.
Barney, please. Sorry.
I wasn't ready to give it up. So then I went and I asked my doctor, can I still drink a little bit throughout this pregnancy? Because I've heard like back in the day, like 60s and 70s, like our parents drank and smoke, right? You've seen like Mad Men, like they're drinking martinis and smoking cigarettes. So I wanted that to happen for me because I'm evil and wicked. So my doctor said yes. And so what I would do is I would measure out like a 4-ounce glass of wine 3 or 4 times a week. And I drank throughout my pregnancy. And my kids, thank God, my kids are perfectly healthy and fine. Honestly, I wish that I hadn't done that. But at that point, I wasn't ready to give it up. And I didn't see any reason. I mean, I saw a reason too, but I still wasn't ready to let it go. That's how addicted I was, Jeff. And if I could turn back time, I would not drink when I was pregnant, not even a drop. But
you want to hear really, and I want you to be honest about this. This is a hurtful question.
Oh God.
When your child was born, were you excited both about the child and also the fact that you could drink at the same time?
Oh yeah. That's not a hurtful question. I thought you were going somewhere else with that question, so I'm glad that you asked this.
No, it's like, only reason, and I remember coming home when our first was born, and I got home early in the morning. I mean, like 4 in the morning, I think, from the hospital. And because I was so excited, which is such a lie. I mean, I was excited, don't get me wrong, but that was an excuse to start drinking at that point because I was celebrating.
Yes,
I was just drinking by myself.
I was absolutely stoked about it. I mean, I didn't have to limit my drinks to 4 ounces anymore. So I would have like 2 or 3 glasses. I was still limiting it at this point because I was nursing for a year with both of my kids. So I would do the pump and dump, that whole bit. I would still like limit and cut back, but I still wasn't ready to give it up. That didn't come until later so I had 2 kids back to back, about 17 months apart. And after the second one came, I really had my hands full, and I had 2 kids under 2, and I didn't like being hungover all the time. And that's when it really clicked. Like, this isn't good for my children, and I don't think I should be doing this. So it was a mom moment. It was one of my finer moments, Jeff. It was like a wake up call to me that I needed to change my life and set a good example for my kids. And I decided to get sober. I mean, it took me a while. It took me about 3 years to figure it out. But when my second one was born, I knew I had to make a change because I was headed in a bad direction. I mean, I was having, I couldn't drive them like across town. I wasn't going to drink and drive with them in the car. So then I was like stuck at home and just, limiting the drinks, and being hungover and cranky and grouchy is not really a good thing for the kids. So thank God I had them.
You were obviously still running at the time just because it's in your blood. But when did you realize this is a focal point of my sobriety? And I guess maybe that's when the birth of Recovery Roadrunners happened. But
when I got serious about sobriety, I needed something to fill the void. And I needed something to do with all that extra time that I had and all of that extra energy that I had. So I doubled down on the running. I signed up for like a half marathon every single month. I mean, I started running again when my kids were 1 month old. So when I first got sober, I signed up for a marathon, and like I said, I doubled down. I started running every single day. Sometimes I would run twice a day just to give myself something to do. Like I said, get that energy out and focus on sobriety. Without running, my mind races and I can't sit down. I just have too much energy and anxiety built up in me when I don't run. So I realized very early on in sobriety that running was very important to keeping me sober.
How important, I know for you it's running, but I think I'm a big proponent of getting that energy out, that angst, that tension, that son of a bitch, this day has just, I'm ready to lose it. That Calgon moment, Calgon take me away, just all the crap getting it out of there. And if I don't get it out, it's going to sit and fester. And the only way I could even fan those or cool those flames was to drink. Now you take away the alcohol, those flames are still there. So I got to find a new way because I no longer have the alcohol to get that out of my system, relieve that pressure.
Right. I mean, running and exercise is one of the most productive things that you can do for yourself when you're getting sober and you're trying to rewire your brain to start functioning again and to keep yourself sane. I mean, just simply getting outside in the fresh air, in the sunshine, is something that maybe you haven't done in a while if you've been cooped up in the bar or inside the house, stuck on the couch drinking, maybe that's something that you're not even used to. Just going outside to get some fresh air and a change of scenery will do wonders for your mood. And then you start moving your body.
Yeah. I'm finding creating new and being sober through new situations or traditions is a lot easier than learning to not drink in the old traditions. So, for example, the hardcore this is a far extreme. No one quits drinking and goes to the bar and just sits there and doesn't drink. They avoid going to the bar. They find a different place. They go home. But for someone like me that was a home drinker, well, to go home, it's almost as asinine or insane for me to just come home and sit on the couch and say, I'm not going to drink tonight. Well, it's the equivalent of being in the bar and everyone thinks that's nuts. So it's the same. I have to, and I can tell you right now, as I was wheezing when I was running today, I was craving oxygen. I was not craving alcohol at that moment. My focus was on something else.
Yeah. When you get outside and you run, your body is feeling all sorts of good emotions, right? Like your mood goes up, you get more energy, then your memory starts functioning better, your attention and your focus. Your brain literally starts to repair itself and it starts like building new brain cells. All those brain cells that we killed from drinking for 20, 30 years, exercise actually reverses the damage done from drinking. So, yeah.
How did Recovery Road runners, because runners are very typically isolated people. They get their headphones on and they head out. So how did this whole deal come about for you?
Well, when I got sober, I felt alone. I felt like I was the only one I knew who had a drinking problem. Like seriously, even to this day, years later into my sobriety, I'm the only one in my circle, who is sober. No one in my family, none of my close friends, nobody that I hang out with is sober. So I started feeling alone, like an outcast, like I didn't belong. But then I found a group on Facebook, a sober group, and I thought, okay, this is cool. There are some sober people out there. They're just not in my town. So then I thought, like, well, maybe I'll start a running group and try to meet some local sober people. Like, I just asked myself, like, where are all the sober people? I know there's more sober people in the world, but where are they? And then I asked another question, where are all the sober runners? Because once you get sober, you have to find a new hobby, right? And a lot of people in recovery go into endurance sports like running, cycling, mountain climbing, swimming, triathlons, whatever. So I wanted to find these people. So I got the idea one day when I was meditating. Yeah, I like to meditate now too. I like to just sit and, just zone out into my own head. So it came to me when I was meditating for Recovery Roadrunners. And I started a group on Facebook, and it started with like 3 of my friends who I begged to be in my group, and I just slowly started growing the group. I just put some feelers out on Facebook, like, hey, if you're sober and you like to run or you want to start running, like, come join my group. So the group just started earlier this year in 2021, January. And it's grown to almost 600 people as of today. And that's just by word of mouth. So people are looking for this group. There's
I just don't know how you could find anyone that's as crazy as you that would want to join something like that. Oh,
they're everywhere, Jeff.
Someone's at the door. Oh, well, hello. How are you, Andrew? What's going on?
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
One of those that's crazy enough to do this as well.
Yeah, I am crazy enough, I guess.
How did you run it? How did you find Amber?
Well, I think the other Facebook group or sobriety group is where Amber and I met, and then there's a weekly call that we were on, and I can't remember exactly how she realized that I was a runner. I think probably the first call we were on, she threw it out there and said, "If you run, come join Recovery Roadrunners," because she was pretty much asking everyone. And joined right away.
Do you run together, or do you just report and talk about and support?
It's funny. Amber and I ran, even though we live in different cities, we did run together on Sunday for about a mile over FaceTime.
Yeah, it was so cool. He's my buddy who's coming down to run the Sacramento Marathon with me. We both do our long runs on Sundays, so we knew we were out. We sent each other a selfie. We're like, hey, we're doing it. And then all of a sudden my phone rings, and I thought maybe he pocket dialed me or something because it was a FaceTime request from him. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll answer it. And so now we're FaceTiming as we're running down the trail. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Why don't we do this every time we do a long run?
Yeah. Well, so it's got to be just the two of you are the only people you could get to join this thing, right? Who could that be? Oh, Elena, how you doing?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Elena.
I just checked, and there's no one out on the street, so it's just us. I want to ask, and I'll start with Elena. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. I assume we're all in the same boat. I haven't met the two of you before, but I assume we're all in the same boat, being that you're in Recovery Roadrunners. What was missing in your journey, and what does going out and running these ungodly distances, what does that give you? What, Elena, I'll start with you. What was missing, and how did you fall into this? Were you a runner before?
Yeah, so I was a runner before. I didn't run marathons like Amber. I like to say that in Recovery Roadrunners, I keep it real for those in the back. But my running was primarily, well, I was an athlete in high school, and I played lacrosse into college. But once I became a true adult, I pretty much used running to keep in shape and to run off my hangovers. Mm-hmm. And I found Recovery Roadrunners after I had finally stopped drinking in 2019, in the fall of 2019. And it kind of happened at a point in my life where I have 2 little girls, and and so I used to do running and hot yoga to burn off the booze. And one day I was going to the Y to do a hot yoga class, and then I had my 2 little girls bouncing behind me, and they looked at me and they're just like, "Mommy, we want to be just like you when we grow up." And I had this like aha moment, and I'm just like, well, I don't want you to be this version of me. So I kind of stopped drinking without deciding to quit drinking, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But after about a year in, I just was, like Amber said, I was just lonely. No one else in my life is a non-drinker, my husband included. And I really wanted something else. And I had some experience with AA. My father was actually in AA, so I know the wonders that that program can do for people. But when I found Recovery Roadrunners, I met Amber, and she had set up some meetups, and I just feel like we're a group of, it's not just about the crazy distances. We are all growth minds. We all have a growth mindset. We all want to, I mean, we all have our pasts, but we all are committed to creating a better future. And so I don't know. I met Amber, I met Andrew, and some other people in the group, and just really found my place in
Was
sobriety.
and I'll ask Elena, you first, and Andrew, was your recovery, and Elena, I'm the same way. My whole extended family, I'm the only person I know that's a non-drinker. So what I'm doing with here is where I find the people that actually get it.
Yes.
That understand. They can try, but they don't get it. And if I push some of the things, they say, "You got to be kidding me! I don't understand. Why would you ever?" It's like, well, there you go, exactly.
Or they get defensive about their own drinking.
Yeah, that's true, exactly. So what on your journey was, besides maybe the support, but what else was missing that this program gave you?
Well, when I joined Recovery Roadrunners, Amber and Esbjorn were starting a 16-week challenge. So like I said, I was never a long distance runner. I mean, I did plenty of 5Ks, and like I said, I was an athlete, so I had run a lot, but I wasn't a marathoner. And I never really, even though I did run, I didn't identify as a runner per se. But Amber was starting this challenge, and I'm like, well, what do I have to lose? And it was a 16-week challenge, and they just gave us this program, and I just didn't question it. I was kind of, I hadn't been drinking for a year, so I was probably better off than I was a year ago mentally, but I was still not in a good place. So I just followed their instructions every single day, and I used to just check in with the group me, and we would take our running selfies. And previously I'd never run. I think I did a 9K a couple years ago, but I signed up for the 10K challenge, and at the end of the 16 weeks, I just followed. And I actually had a hiccup. I had surgery, so I couldn't run for 4 weeks. But I got back into it. Amber kind of coached me through it, and at the end of the 16 weeks, like, I ran my 10K, and then I was joking around with Amber. It's like 5 miles used to be like my goal, and now 5 miles is kind of like my minimum. Like, if I do under 5 miles, it's just like, oh, I might as well have just walked the dogs. So I told Amber, I'm like, it works, and she's like, well, of course it works, but I don't know. And I just really appreciated that we can talk about not drinking, but there's something else that we can talk about. We can all talk about running, and really that shared, and it's not just about running. Like, Amber's super inclusive, so you could be walking, you could be doing yoga, but it's just all kind of working together. I have my 7-year-old that just joined us, so maybe we can go to Andrew for a second while I convince her to go to bed.
One point about what you said, though, about doing this together and checking in. And I don't know, they're still around, but haunted houses. A haunted house is not fun to go through alone. Mm-hmm. It can be scarier, but when we're with someone else, we're laughing, we're screaming, we're holding on to each other, we're pushing someone ahead of us. It's fun, and we enjoy doing it. It's still hard or scary. Well, that's how I see recovery. Because when I'm doing this, by myself, it's scary, and there's no one to hold on to and face the fears together and laugh about it and the stories and tease each other and have some fun about it.
Or vent about the holidays and all the the struggles with our families. And
that's the best part about Recovery Roadrunners is we are like all like best friends now. We're like brothers and sisters. We have everything in common, Jeff. We can talk for days. And it's like that with not only these two, but with so many others in the group too. We're just instant friends. We just totally hit it off. We get each other, we get each
it's
other.
a lot of common goals.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of it's the successes, but like Elena said, sobriety is great, but it can get a little repetitive as far as what you talk about.
Mhm.
So having
A
other
little
things
depressing
and
sometimes.
other-
Yeah.
other big victories on a run or goals together, I can see it. Andrew, what was just briefly your journey, and how did obviously running was a big factor in your recovery or your journey working? How did that come about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, when I decided to get sober, which was back in April, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. So, but I'm like, okay, so you sign up for a group, you get a therapist, and then what's next? And, I didn't want to do AA for various reasons. And I found the group where I ended up in with Amber, found a therapist, all that kind of stuff. And at first I didn't even know I was quitting for good. It was kind of like, oh, I guess I'll quit for a little bit and get back to normal. I think that thought process that almost everybody goes through. And it was, joining Recovery Road Runners. I think I joined around the same time as Elena because it was that 16-week challenge, but I was already in a mindset of I needed big challenges in front of me. So, and for me,
Was recovery not enough of a challenge, or you needed a different type?
By challenge, I just meant something I guess a part of it was to keep my mind busy. You guys have already said earlier, you just get so much energy. And I couldn't sit and meditate and think. So I needed something where I could go out and be active. And I mean, I call it active meditation, and it's not just running for me. It started with biking actually, which is more of a bigger thing for me. But I'm like, all right, I need to go and keep myself motivated on that as well. So I just started putting big challenges in front of myself. So I'd never done 100-mile bike ride. So I'm like, okay, I'm signing up for one. I'm going to go do that. And then I joined Recovery Road Runners, and I had been a runner, but I cut during the pandemic and with the drinking, kind of got away from it. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to sign up for a half marathon at the same time with this 16-week challenge. So I was doing both training for the 100-mile bike ride and the half marathon, but it was about, one of the things I find with everybody's in sobriety, as far as Amber's right, we're really good friends now, is you jump right into it. It's like, here's my soul of who I am and why, and like what you just asked me about, Jeff, about, what's one of the worst things you've done in your life, kind of is another way to phrase that question is, how'd you get here? And we all know it.
Well, you know what? If we don't meet, you opening up about that makes me not feel alone. It makes me say, and I appreciate that. I really, I appreciate every person that, whether it's on this little deal or that I've run into in life, that is willing to tell their story, because I got a lot of pretty embarrassing crap in my story. I think we all do that, but you sharing that with me makes me say, holy, I'm not the only one. I thought I was the only person on the planet that did that. And there's someone else that now that the wall just dropped, and now I can open up, and now that it's venting. And I think you said the running, I don't know what you called it, or meditation on the go, mobile meditation is so true. Just with a little bit of running I did, I mean, it's a time that you really get some thinking in there, and it does clear your head. But whether it's a meditation or talking with another person, just telling you things, I almost am hearing them for the first time. Or when I'm running and thinking about them, it's like, even though they're coming out of me, getting them out, whether it's in my mind through meditation or talking to you, I'm hearing them almost for the first time. I'm learning about myself, even though it is me. So that's a key. Amber, what are I'm sure there's a lot of commonalities, but what are the most common things that people come to this program that they need? And what are some of the ones that you maybe are the unique ones?
Well, everybody that comes to the group, they want friendship. They feel like they have no sober friends, no one to talk to who understands them at all. And, it's like they come in and they say, nobody in my family is sober. Nobody gets me. I have no one to talk to. So they just want someone to talk to and make a new friend or two, and somebody who will listen to them, and who will get it and say, like, yeah, I know my mom does this too, or my kids do this too, just somebody to say, I get it, and to listen to you and to not judge you. All these people in this group, I could tell them anything and nobody has once judged me or said like, oh my God, Amber, I can't believe you did that. Or I can't believe you said that. They're just like, they just listen and nod and smile at me. I mean, these people are like the friendliest people alive. I'm not even kidding, Jeff.
Do you schedule, hey, we're going to Zoom and I'll talk about and check in about, so do you specifically, hey, Elena, Andrew, how are you doing recovery wise or sobriety wise as well as just the running?
Well, we used to Zoom more often and the schedule kind of got away from us. But in the past, we've met up once or twice a week. And some of the meetings will have like 5 people or 10 people, and it'll just be like an open share. And other meetings have had a topic, like tonight we're talking about marriage and divorce. And another topic might be like we're talking about our kids, or another topic is maybe like fitting everything in with our busy schedules or whatnot. So everybody comes to the meeting and everybody gets to share and maybe receive some positive feedback from the group. So we have done that in the past, but like I said, the schedule kind of got away from me. But now what I'm doing is I'm offering a 30-day coaching program. So the Zoom meetings have resumed and they are amazing. I currently have a group of 10 women, and we just had a meeting the other night. And we talked for an hour, and you can just feel the instant connection. I mean, it was the first time we had ever met. Everybody just bared their whole entire life story and their soul to each other. And everybody is just nodding and smiling and just saying like, yeah, like I get it. And, like it's just the friendship and the community of this group. And we can talk about anything from running to sobriety, to the mistakes that we've made, to the challenges that we're facing today and this week. And I just can't even describe it. It is the missing piece. It's exactly what I was hoping for when I started Recovery Roadrunners. I wanted some new friends, and you're looking at 2 of who I would say are now my best friends who I've never even been in the same room with. But Andrew's coming down to run the Sacramento Marathon with me in 3 weeks. And I'm planning on flying out to DC to run a half marathon with Elena in March. So Recovery Roadrunners is escalating and elevating a little bit. We will be having some weekend retreats and destination races coming up in 2022. So stay tuned.
I guess I'm running a half marathon, Jeff.
Yeah. I love that.
It's exactly how I got into running a marathon. It's going to be my first one.
That's Amber. Yeah, she challenges you.
People, you're not going to say, no, I can't do that, or I don't want to do that. It's I saw the look. Oh,
See,
I am.
You just have to make them think that it's their idea, Jeff.
Right, exactly.
Right?
It's like, what a great idea, Elena.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think about that?
Well, let me just tell you, Jeff, I'm coming off of 6 days in Disney World. And I just had to do a Girl Scout meeting, and Amber's like, "Oh, it's fine. You'll just come late. It's fine. Jeff will just have you in." I'm like, okay, I'll do it for Amber.
This is as easy going. Well, you know what? And that's my goal with this whole group. This Back to Zero group is just it's whatever. We're all us. It's everyone's different.
Well, and the best thing is that, and we have time, right? Like I can schedule things back to back because I don't have to schedule things around my drinking or my being hungover.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I was a big my exercise, my running days were big justifications because you didn't see, and we all have the stereotypical alcoholic, the bum, whatever you want to say, wearing the street clothes, whatever I know it's all wrong, but you know what I'm saying, that when we all say of of the drunk under the bridge, we all have an image. Well, you don't see that person jogging down our street. So if I'm jogging, then I can't be then I'm not that bad. I'm not him, because he wouldn't be out running. So therefore, just what a guy. That guy he's an athlete, and he can still drink a ton of beer. He's the complete package.
And that's what keeps us stuck for 25 years, Jeff, is you tell yourself, well, I'm not that bad because I can go run 10 miles anytime I want. I'm not that bad because I've never been fired from my job, or I haven't lost my kids, and I'm not homeless on the street. So you tell yourself you're not as bad as that bum out there, but it's just a denial defense mechanism, because you know deep down inside that you're bad in your own way, and it's affecting your life. It's just, there comes a day for all of us where you wake up to that fact and you admit it to yourself. Well, and then there's no looking back.
That denial thing, though, it's a good point. What you just said is, look at the pictures I have that are buried up there of those were me looking like an athlete. Now, it's back when I was playing football, and I'm sure, Andrew, Elena, you probably have pictures of you crossing the line, and because there's the image I want everyone to see. You don't have the picture. I don't have the picture up there of me throwing up on myself, the night after the game. I don't have that picture on the wall. I don't want people to see that, and I don't want to see it. I want them to see this image that I might be portraying, and there's I'm not that bum, that person. Look at me. This is a justification. It's who I want to be, and I want you to see that, and maybe I want to see it myself. That's why I don't have those pictures up anymore, or ever of me, getting sick and being hungover. And
thank God Facebook wasn't around when I was younger.
I know, right? Well, I think that's what turns a lot of people off to Facebook and Instagram, is that people showcase their lives as fantastic and perfect and amazing, and they don't show you any of the bad stuff. So that's what's good about the recovery groups that I'm in. We're real. We will tell you the honest truth because it's real, and we're not going to lie to ourselves anymore. We're not going to lie to you. It just doesn't feel right.
The pictures. What when I think of the beer Mich Ultra.
Oh yeah.
When I think of that, and I'm going to what the commercials are. It's at the end. We've all just run a marathon. We all are smoking hot, attractive, sitting around at the bar. No one's ripped. We're just popular, and we're with everyone, our friends, laughing and smiling. That's what I associate Mich Ultra with. That's what the advertising does. So that's the image. Well, that was never the image with me, and when I drank Mich Ultra. If they had footage of me, they sure as hell wouldn't have put me up there with Mich Ultra on their advertising campaign, because that would have been, but that's the truth. So one thing though, you brought up the image that we see. It's still, for me, who's out of shape and can't do this, maybe intimidating your program, because I see all these super athletic runners. Well, I'm not. So how does that fit in? How is your program with the challenge? Is it all on a scale? Because I'm older, and I don't have the flexibility. I'm physically not looking like Andrew. So so there are limitations.
Well, let me give you a quick answer and then pass it off to Andrew, because I would love for him to answer this question. I honestly believe everybody and anybody can join Recovery Roadrunners. It doesn't matter if you walk, hike, run, bike, nothing, like garden. I'll say, do you like to walk to your car? Okay, you can be a runner. Like anybody, you can start by walking around the block, and then you can increase it to 5-10 minutes. Just start slow, start where you're at. You'll be surprised at how quickly you start to get in shape. So anybody can run a 5K. You can walk a 5K. You can walk the whole entire way. It does not matter. It's just getting out there, putting yourself out there, trying something new, getting the benefits of exercise, and stepping out into the community and giving yourself a new experience. So I believe that everybody can do this. Like, don't be intimidated. I've been running for almost 30 years. Don't be intimidated. I run 12-minute miles sometimes slower.
If someone, let's just go to the January 1, and which we'll be back talking about this, but your program, if I sign up for this, are you going to give me, is it based on my where I'm, are you, how do we figure out what my goals are, my where I want to be in 16 weeks or whatever the challenge is?
So I interview everybody. I ask them 100 questions and figure out exactly where they're at, where they're starting at, and what their goals are. And then I'll give them an individual plan. So I'm not going to overwhelm anybody, with anything. We're just going to take it from where they're at. But I want to take it back to Andrew because he has a pretty interesting story of his own. Right, Andrew?
Which story is that?
Well, I mean, you lost like a lot of weight and you increased your mileage over like a short period of time. Like you said, you're a cyclist and now you're like a newborn runner, right? Like running is relatively new to you.
Yeah. I mean, I ran before, but yeah, I mean, 6 months ago, I was 50 pounds heavier, right? So when I started in Recovery Roadrunners, I'm kind of blushing when you're saying I look like an athlete, Jeff, because I didn't 6 months ago.
Even your hair looks like it's spiked up, so it looks like you've been running real fast, and that's just the wind, pushing it back. So you look fast.
That's good. I'll have to remember that. Yeah, but I think the other thing with Recovery Roadrunners is that people are coming for two main reasons, right? It's the sobriety piece as well. And I think with that, maybe the barrier to joining and getting in goes away because immediately everyone, like those selfies that, Elena mentioned, we're all posting. A lot of the times it's posted with, I'm getting together with my family this weekend or whatever anxiety around, sobriety that we have, and we talk about that as much as the running. So it doesn't really matter because some people are like, I'm not even running yet, but I enjoy the conversation and stuff like that. So the group is pretty awesome for that. And then you get into setting goals, right? Like I didn't the half marathon, and Amber will tell you what your goal is and tell you to go run a marathon with her at some point.
Yeah,
so,
and publicly do it. And,
yeah.
So you have no chance of saying no.
But I think you touched on a really good thing, Andrew, that it's not just focusing. Instead of focusing on just not drinking, which is super boring. It's like focusing on like, well, since I'm not drinking, maybe I could run a 10K or maybe I could run a half marathon, and you realize how much time drinking took up. And when you remove that, you can really try to achieve your potential. And Amber is really good at coaching that out of you. So I know we're giving her a hard time, but
hey, that's what that's what we're here for. It's there's this is the get your pies ready and start throwing them out. The celebrity. This is
Why am I so big right now?
Because you're the star of Recovery
you
Roadrunners.
The purveyor of pain, as I like to call you. But,
I do like to live in the pain cave. The pain cave comes on a really long or a hard run. I love the pain cave.
Well, something, Jeff, and I was just telling Amber this morning when I was talking to her, the thing about Amber and me is that really there in no world, she is such a high performing athlete. No other unless the only thing that brought us together and kind of leveled the playing field was that we both had to quit drinking.
Yeah.
So, but she doesn't judge me because I don't run marathons, and she did, kind of told me right there that I was doing the half marathon, but that was something she and I had talked about before.
Yeah.
But it's not something I ever imagined I would do before I met Amber. I think she and I both share that we both deal with anxiety, and I think that we use drinking to deal with that anxiety. So running really, really helps me, and focusing on a goal really helps me deal with my anxiety. Because
I realized, and I was crippled with anxiety. So I mean, if you look up the term panic attacks in the dictionary, you'll see my picture.
Me
that
too.
was
Yep.
me. I mean, crippled for years. And all I did for 30 years was pour alcohol on it, thinking I was fixing it. And all I was doing was making it
Putting
100-fold
gasoline
worse.
on it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think what I like about this, and it doesn't have to be just running, but obviously we're going to use that word tonight, but just removing alcohol from my life doesn't fix any of my problems. Now, it did help anxiety, don't get me wrong. I mean, it helps. It does make things better. But my true problems, if anything, you just robbed me of my only coping skill that I knew, that I had for life. And life doesn't change, sober or not. It still throws us all these curves. It throws us the injury, the surgery that you meant. And if I had a marathon coming up and I had surgery, it would be because it was elective surgery to get me out of the marathon. Not by, it would have been my choice to have surgery. But always a great excuse. Elective surgery could be beautiful for that. Just look for insurance. No, I'm just kidding. But the ways of dealing with the coping skills and the stresses, I didn't have those. And when alcohol was gone, it forced me. So I better get some tools to help me get over this, because otherwise it's when I got these tools, and I'm new into yoga, and I've been doing that for a few months now, and it's about as pretty as my running was today, but at least I'm doing it. It helps me. I feel so much better, and it makes choosing not to drink tonight a lot easier, because I got rid of a lot of the stuff, whatever that stuff is, that made me, I gotta drink. I'm going nuts.
Mhm.
That is gone. And you take that away, it's a lot easier to say, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to. Plus, for me, I don't know, Andrew, how you feel after running you're talking about the 100-mile bike ride, but that's something you're going, hell yeah, that's an inner emotional trophy. And maybe I don't want to throw that away by drinking all night and just destroying all the good. I put a lot of time into it. It gives you a tangible thing that maybe we don't want to lose. And we don't want to, I want to show that off. I don't want to lose it by drinking it away. Say, whatever. The fact that I ran today, I've got something. I don't want to drink and lose that, because I want to wake up tomorrow and feel damn good about the benefits I got from going out there and doing that.
Yeah,
I also, another thing that Amber kind of put me onto was reading about a guy named David Goggins. And his book's amazing if you've never read it. Most people describe him as a little bit crazy, and I think that's probably a little bit true, but he has a lot of good theories on things. And one of them that I really like is having a cookie jar that you can dip into when you're in that pain cave that Amber described. So now I've got that 100-mile bike ride. I've got a bunch of different half marathons and stuff like that, but it's when you're hitting that wall and you can reach into your cookie jar and say, this feels like it did when I did that 100-mile bike ride. But it's not, I feel like I'm building a whole bunch of new cookies, I guess, to put into that jar, because all the ones when I ran a lot of half marathons when I was drinking, and I have some good memories from it, but they're all clouded by, as soon as I was done, going and getting some beer and kind of drowning the feeling from it. So yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't stop there. Like we're collecting these cookies and all of these achievements, and we're really happy with our sobriety and our running and everything. But it doesn't stop there. See, now this energy catapults us into our next move, which for all of us here, we're elevating our lives in every way. I mean, professionally and socially and with our families. I mean, we're shooting for the stars now, because running makes us feel like we're superhuman. We're sober runners. We're super fit. We're feeling awesome. So now, it makes me want to go start my own business. It makes Elena want to go start her own thing, right? You know what I'm talking about, Elena. She's elevating her professional life right now. And I know Andrew told me a story about something that he's stepped into, a leadership role with something with his family. So really what we're doing is we're just inspiring each other to be better in every area of our life. It doesn't stop with running. It just catapults us. It launches us to bigger and better in every single area.
Well,
Like
and then
we're literally unstoppable.
Well, and we have an audience now. It's just like, after you go on a run and you have all these like realizations, like all of a sudden we have a community that we can like download these things and share with each other. And, chances are like we're not all exactly the same, but we all have the common bond of not drinking alcohol and wanting to be better physically, whatever that means to you. And yeah, so.
There's the motivation. I'm a real lousy self-motivator, but when
Me
talking
too.
to the three of you that are doing this, it's like, you know what? I want that. I want
Right.
that. And I want, and
You
I
can
don't
have
want,
it. Join us.
no, exactly. And that's the feeling. It's like, hey, you know what? You can come on, just do what you got to do. Come into the group. But that is, I don't want to be now being the odd man out because I was the only non-drinker of the group. Right now, I'm sitting around with a group that they look like they're not drinking, but they're having a lot of fun. They're the cool people, and I want to join the group. Well, yeah, you can join in and do that.
Yeah.
But back to the success breeds success, and failure breeds failure, and that's something, Amber, that for someone like me to say, Jeff, you could do this. Let's start tonight with a 15-mile run. I'm going to get, a mile into it and go, no, I'm going home. And now it was too much. And that's why I think I would be the perfect specimen for you because I'm a head case and I will look for any reason to, fight
Jeff,
it.
Well, I was really surprised in this training program because I'm kind of the same way. And, but like, Esbjorn and Amber, like that 16-week challenge, they taught me about heart rate zone running and zone 2 with my heart rate in zone 2 most of the time is walking. So most of the 16 weeks I was actually only running like 1 or 2 days of that week, and towards the end of the 16 weeks I was running long runs, right? I was running 8 miles and 9 miles, but that was like 3 months in. So it was a very unintimidating program, and I was very intimidated by Amber and Esbjorn starting because they are both they're incredible athletes, but they are not intimidating. I mean, no offense, Amber, but like,
I mean, I'm not a professional runner. I'm just a regular girl. She's
like,
telling
I
it too high, guys.
sometimes run 20. Sometimes I even run 12-minute miles. I'm like, I'd be happy with a 12-minute mile. But they're just super supportive and non-judgy, and I think that for me, and then like Andrew and I have a lot of things in common with like our families, and so we can bond about that, and it's just a very like safe space. And if you don't want to talk about private stuff, then you just talk about running. And you learn all sorts of stuff. Like I could not get in my head what the tempo run was. That was like my head block, the last challenge. And everyone was very patient with me and explained it to me. And because you really do have the whole spectrum of runners in the group. So yeah.
The other thing that you get, Jeff, if you want to really get into it and start running and really become part of the group, is the accountability piece, which is both for the sobriety and the running, right? So I mean, we're all there to not be drinking together, but I know for the running, I don't know how many times I'll send a message to Amber going, I'm not feeling it today, but I know you're doing it, so I'm doing it because you're not going to do it, and I'm not. And
well, Andrew, I call it. And I hear you say a boat and oat when it's out. We'll on that a little later.
Thank you for saying that, Jeff.
Yeah,
It's been bothering me.
It's a boat. What are you talking about? But I call it the Planet Fitness scenario. $15, but if I am going to set my alarm clock tomorrow morning at 5:30, I'm going to get up and go into Planet Fitness, and I'm going to get a great workout. There's a real good chance when that alarm goes off at 5:30, I'm going to wake up and go, maybe tomorrow. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. Same scenario. Hey, Andrew, we're going to meet tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock at Planet Fitness. Now at 5:30, I'm going to say, son of a bitch, why did I ever agree to do this? But he's going to be there. and now I have to. And there's that accountability. And I'm going to be so glad when we walk out the door. I'm going to say, damn, I'm so glad we did that. I feel so good. But you know what? You better be here tomorrow morning and hold me accountable, because otherwise I need that.
Well, so now what we do is we follow each other on Strava. And so we're like checking each other's mileage and each other's pace. And he checked my elevation one night and he was like, wow, it's flat there. I was running hills. And I'm like, what? I can't help it. There's no hills around here. But it's fun.
I'd be throwing my phone up in the air and trying to get you should have seen that cliff I had to just climb moments ago.
Yeah, but even from 1,000 miles away, you have accountability partners here and here and here, and everybody. It's just fun.
I mean, I see Amber running at 5 o'clock in the morning so she can like be available for her kids and to get them awake and get to school. And I'm like, man, if Amber could do it at 5 a.m., I could do it too, you know? And yeah, and holding us accountable when I kind of just, you know, if I fall off the radar for a little bit. Andrew has been known to check up on me, and you know, sometimes I'm just busy, but then
Lisa from Australia just wrote in, no exercise ever happened if it's not on Strava.
Oh, right.
That's the only way you can prove it, I guess. I don't know, but well, look, stay on, everyone, because we have some lovely parting gifts for everyone. But thank you so much for opening up and sharing and inspiring. And Amber, I will put up, but what is the website if people do want to learn more? We are going to, like I said, we're going to start a beginning of the year program for the kickoff, just because that's when everyone seems to. But
yeah, that's a great time to start it.
But there's no reason why they can't, you know, look you up and start. I want to get in shape, so that my first run with you on January 1 is not really. I'm sorry. Your phone must have lost batteries charge, Jeff, because it cut out after 300 feet. So,
and then I see crazy elevations.
Yeah, it was. Oh gosh, I need to charge that thing more because I ran 17 miles. But no. So, how do they find your information?
You can find us at recoveryroadrunners.com. We're also on Facebook groups, Recovery Roadrunners. You can email me at recoveryroadrunners@gmail.com.
recoveryroadrunners@gmail.com.
Yeah,
okay,
and you can get private coaching, you can get group coaching, and you can join the free group as well.
Does the peer pressure that you laid on Elena about the half marathon, does that come included in the package?
Yeah.
That's free.
Just want to make sure.
That's free.
Yeah, that's free. Gotcha. All right, everyone. Well, hang in there. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll be back Thursday evening for some more fun. So hang in there, everyone.
Thank you, Jeff.
See you, everyone.